Hi there. Our meditation for this is going to be very simple. To take some slow, steady breaths in and out, releasing stress as we exhale. Now we're going to regulate our breathing by counting to 4 on the in-breath, pausing for 4 before we exhale, counting to 4 as we exhale, pausing for 4 before we inhale. This is called squared breathing. I'm going to do it with you. Inhale for 4. Okay. After doing a few rounds, return to breathing normally. The next thing we want to do, take our left hand and move it over to our right knee and then return it. Take our right hand, move it over to the left knee and return it. And now we're going to count to 20 as we do this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Take a nice deep breath. Exhale completely. And resume normal breathing. We have now synced both sides of our body, both hemispheres of our brain. And as we go into the reading, we set the intention for this or something better, meaning we will not be limited by what we encounter in the reading, that we will only use it for our highest good and the highest good of all. And if there is something better, we wish to line up with that. Okay? And let us begin. So you chose reflection number 1. See what's been going on. Ten of Cups. King of Swords reversed. Judgment reversed. The Devil. Eight of Swords. Either you have some great success and you haven't been able to fully enjoy it, or are fully enjoying something that you're calling success that actually is rooted in some sort of inner some sort of egoic desire that it's covering up some inner turmoil. It's like you're thinking that you're living it up to the fulfilled. You think that you've accomplished it all, however, you are actually um, holding yourself back from what's really possible. Okay. Another way to look at it is you could have this vision of what you want and you just can't get there. All right, let's see what else we've got here. Success assured with good plans and hard work. You are on the right path regarding some aspect of your life. Stubborn, aggressive person. Winter, season known for snow and ice. It's the coldest time of year. Stitch, it's the Disney cards, a genetically engineered space creature who escapes to planet Earth where he finds love and friendship. Toy store, games, action figures, dolls, race cars. Pick your favorite aisle. Surfing, the act of riding a surfboard on the face of a wave. Cowabunga. Regret, desire, bashful, critical, and clearing karma. Because you want this thing, because you're trying to achieve this thing that is success to you, is the happily ever after, so to speak. It's bringing to your attention some of the things that are holding you back, and those things are being brought to your attention so that you can clear them. Regrets, being critical, being too shy, holding yourself back from your desire. Desires that are really like rooted in limitation. Like, if it's like one thing to live for the enjoyment of some of the pleasures of life, but it's another to like only think about the pleasures of life, Like you can see how that would be detrimental overall. So we got from the astrology oracle Vera, Libra, Vesta, Aquarius, Themis, and Coronis. I'm just letting an impression come to me. Sorry about that silence and stuff. Let's see. The way that you're clearing these patterns is to bring them into balance, right? To neutrality. and to find out the truth wherever you have misunderstandings. One of the misunderstandings could be regarding something that you've devoted yourself to. It might actually have you sort of frozen, stuck. There may be an aggressive person involved, but it could just be that you're being stubborn. It's like this is part of it, though. This, like learning this about yourself or how something works or someone else, is part of it. There's some truth to be told. To know the truth. So you're looking for the truth of the matter on why you are where you're at, you know? It's either something that's keeping you from experiencing that, 10 of cups, which is all the things that you want and happily ever after, so to speak, an accomplishment. Or it's making you think you already have that, even though it's built on something that will crumble. Aggression. Oh, interesting, because we got aggressive person, and now we got aggression. Okay. Are you ignoring some type of uh, aggression? Have you been distracting from it? Have you been distracting from seeing the truth because you're attached to how you see it? You've been compromising due to an insecurity you have. Maybe you don't feel like you can really get it, so you're just kind of settling for the version of it that you see yourself with. And you're really, really stubbornly dug in on this, okay? You're telling yourself that you've got the happily ever after, but you don't. And part of you knows that. You're very stubbornly dug in on it. In fact, you might get really angry when somebody says this to you. So if you do feel triggered, please make sure that you don't hurt yourself or anyone else. That's a promise you must make to yourself when using this tool. The thing is that there is something that you may regret here. And it's not like you should stay in regret forever, but there is a need to acknowledge that there's something where you made a different choice. I mean, all of it's part of the learning, you're on the right path, it said, right? But it's like you did make a choice that brought you to a certain space that you're learning from. It's not done yet, you haven't achieved it yet. Maybe infidelity or something here. Someone who gave in to their desire or made a choice without really understanding. They just went for the fun thing, the thing that they decided, was fun for the moment. Fun. Maybe even like parameters that they thought they could play in, that they could win in. But this reading is talking about your soul wanting you to actually come to the point where you realize that you made a choice that is against what you actually do desire. It's not the truth. It's asking you to admit the truth to yourself, which is that you have limited yourself into an uncomfortable space. And, maybe it was your lower natures that let you do that. You were trying to escape something else. Yeah, when you made this decision because you were trying to escape something else, and now you're stubbornly sticking with it. Okay? So you've got to be willing to admit the truth to yourself, or you will be staying in this spot. You're on a journey here, and this making this decision was part of it. Like, you were always going to make this decision. So it's not a matter of like beating yourself up because, oh, you were so wrong. It's a matter of like extracting from the situation what it is you learned. Like, okay, I've had this experience, take myself back from the experience. Now, what have I learned from this experience that I needed to know? You know, take an inventory. And from there, you can move forward, because anything that you build without the truth is going to eventually crumble. It's going to be uncomfortable, you know. It's not going to be sustainable forever to continue lying to yourself about what level of success you're at or how happy you are. Okay, so it's just like address this thing. That's it. Address this thing, which was a decision that you made, a direction you went in, or just how you actually feel about where you're at. Just address the truth of that. Acknowledge and validate how it is, what's going on with you. Can you admit to yourself that you didn't want to admit this to yourself, and why? This is valuable information that you've got to learn about yourself because you went through this experience. Where will I hold myself back just out of being stubborn? And is it worth it? If I know I've taken the wrong turn, and I know that if I go back, there's another turn that will get me there where I wanted to go. Am I really going to just ignore and pretend that other turn doesn't exist and just keep going? It's like the whole experience, yes, was meant to be had, so it really wasn't a wrong turn. But now that you know there's a different way to go to get to where you want to go, aren't you going to go do that? And what does it take to be able to do that? You have to admit that you decided something different. You have to stop being so stubbornly attached to one way of being. And there's some sort of aggression here. It could be dealing with another person. Aggression has alerted you to this, that there was a misunderstanding. There was a different way to go. Like maybe you're going down the road and it's like all of a sudden your car's getting egged, and it's like, okay, you're going to keep going where your car's getting egged, or you're going to go on that other road that you knew would actually get you to where you were going, but you didn't know it right away, so you kept pretending it wasn't there. It's just something like that. It's like taking responsibility for where you're at so that you can adjust course in a way and allow for yourself the true victory, the true success, which all of this that you've been through is part of getting there. Nothing's gone wrong, so to speak. So if you need to tell that to your ego, it's like, oh, ego, now there's some bigger piece of information here for us to consider, so let's consider it. It's like, now, knowing what I know now, this is what I'll do. And you allow it for yourself, and it's no like need to stay stubborn. Like new information has been presented which adjusts your course. There's a bigger understanding, and your understanding matters in this. Being balanced, like allowing for yourself to have made that route decision, and then also for yourself to make a different decision, and for none of it to be wrong. So if there's certain feelings that are keeping you, in this pattern, there's like pride, or like, not wanting to feel regret, not wanting to admit that there's a different way to go, like not wanting to admit that like you still had stuff to learn, any of that. Like, it's like, can you get okay with that? Can you be with those kind of themes and like face them head on so that you can redirect here and actually allow yourself to that victory, that desire, that thing that you know is meant for you. A real version of it. Okay. And that completes your reading. Hello, you chose reflection number 2. Let's see what's going on. 7 of Swords. Four of Swords in reverse. Judgment. Temperance. The Lovers in reverse. 8 of Swords. Okay, let me look at this for a moment. 7 swords reversed. 4 swords. Judgment, temperance, the Lovers in reverse. Like heartbreak after some deception. And now it's like seeing things clearly and being tangled up in some belief that's keeping you from someone you love. Right? Astrology Oracle. Pride is keeping you. Disseminating Moon. Niobe. It's pride. Isis. This can be healed. Scorpio. There's some transformation going on. And Constantia. This cycle has been repeating. There's a repeating cycle here of feeling loss after manipulation or deception. The universe trying to set the scales at balance out the scales, and then feeling separated from a loved one. Can you recognize the cycle? We've got free will. How is this serving me? Cleared, eager, 8 to 10 months, restriction. Journey, either physical or mental. It's mental. It's definitely mental. Something important such as new job or raise. Deep friendship with someone of the same sex. Graveyards. Creepy places filled with tombstones, ghosts, and they're kind of dead end. They're kind of a dead end. Elsa, a princess with the magical ability to create ice and snow. She retreats from the world when she accidentally plunges her kingdom into eternal winter. Let it go. Surf, sand, and sunburns. The beach. Well, isn't that opposite? Lightning, an electrical flash from a thundercloud. Shocking. Something you thought was over has been revived with some sort of expanded awareness that pushes you out of a comfort zone. Buzz Lightyear. I just heard to infinity. Okay, a toy spaceman who believes he's a real space ranger of the intergalactic alliance to infinity and beyond. Okay. Okay, there's a friendship here. And that friendship, how is this, ask this, how is this serving me? Could, okay. Could it have restricted you in some way? This friendship? Something that you thought, due to being given some bad advice or some information that made you end something? I'm gonna need more from this. I'm going to need some more. What's the actual issue here? What's the issue rooted in? Distraction. Like, I have all these feelings of like, give up, this isn't worth it, something like that. So rallying others, yeah, someone was like telling you to give up on something. It's not worth it. But really what that meant was you were giving up on yourself. Excuse me. Okay, not taking responsibility and then PTSD. Yeah. Okay. So it made it so that you could project something onto someone else. Some friend gave you bad advice here. And it made you so that, how is that serving them? First of all, look at that. But it made it so that you would not take responsibility for something that you see and it's in you, but you put it on someone else. You projected it. You said, oh, yeah, that person's no good because of whatever it is you see, right? What is it that they see? Oh, it's weirdness. Yeah, Buzz Lightyear. Um, you know how in the movie Toy Story, Buzz Lightyear is like, he's kind of full of himself and he's going through with all this confidence about his role and stuff. And he really does think that that's who he is. But everyone else knows that he's just a toy. And maybe it's like that. It's like some sense of self-importance that you maybe dismissed someone because of and didn't, and you have that within yourself as well. It's like if Buzz Lightyear had a sidekick, like you, or an equal, let's say that, then you would be just as Buzz Lightyear-y as that other person that you saw. I think cut off that other person. I think that they were your equal, and I think that instead of pushing yourself out of your comfort zone with the information you were given, you rejected it and you had someone else agreeing with you that it was okay. Now, this made you feel good about not taking responsibility for the thing that have within yourself, which is something you denied, right? You are torn up about it inside. Maybe before seeing it in this other person, you were pretty capable of like warding it off within yourself or just like not honoring it. But something about this other person made you start realizing like it's just something else too. It's not just that. It's one thing and it's also another. And the way that you were categorizing people that you saw this way wasn't maybe fully fair or accurate because it was always a projection of your own wounding. Some sort of way that maybe you on the playground you were picked on when you embodied some version of this for yourself, like a superhero, like embodying the superhero version of yourself. Maybe that was really like picked on in some way, maybe not even on the playground, but just by, it could have been by a friend who told you it was immature or prideful, or who do you think you are? In some way that restricted you. It held you back. And then maybe they even told others to like tell you the same thing. These It's just time for this to be revisited, where you disallowed some part of yourself that is a match to someone else you have seen in your reality, but that you are not a match to because you've held yourself back on that within yourself. It it originated with some sort of heartbreak where you were deceived. Maybe someone made you feel like that part of you was really appreciated, and then they also made you feel like that part of you was the reason why that they no longer appreciated you. It's like that thing where sometimes people fall in love with the thing about a person, and then that's the same thing that they turn against later. It was something like that. It's coming up for you to heal this now. Like the reflection that you see is it's saying, "Hey, you have an expansion to move out of this comfort zone that you're in. You're actually a little bit too in the box where you're at." And it'll only be your free will when you decide to, reincorporate and re-own this part of yourself that will allow you to proceed without that inner turmoil where you feel held back. Because when you free this part of yourself takes you to where you want to go for the next part of your journey. This part of yourself knows where to go. It's the part of yourself that's like the Buzz Lightyear, that's kind of weird, that's a little bit out there, that has a certain set of beliefs, that believes in yourself as something special, that you have something that's worth pursuing, sharing. It's important. And it will take you on a journey. Yeah, the next part of your journey has to do with freeing this part of yourself that was suppressed. You maybe even had a friend that also helped suppress it within you, but also some experience that just made you feel that it wasn't appropriate. Now it's like free that part of yourself. That is part of you. That part of you needs your love and needs the light of day, because that part is going to serve you in the coming part of your journey. Like it's like unrestrict yourself. I think this part of yourself will be eager, right? Like, because in that movie Buzz Lightyear, like, you can't really convince him of anything else about himself. It's like take up that part of yourself again, the part that doesn't need, like, no one could convince you that it was wrong. Like the hurt part of you that got convinced it was wrong needs your love, is not wrong, was trying to protect you, had a misunderstanding about life and you and how things work, and can be forgiven and loved and needs your love. And that will allow this other part of you who knows themselves and who's very eager to be in the world and who can't be convinced that they're not who they are. It's like allow that part of yourself, okay? Because any damage that you did in trying to, get comfortable using that part, like you've learned what you needed to learn about it. Like with the movie Frozen, and Elsa froze everything. Well, you know, everything was okay afterwards, right? I don't even remember how that movie went, but I'm just assuming. Excuse me. Okay, that completes your reading. So you chose reflection number 3. Let's see what's going on. 5 of Wands. Ace of Cups in reverse. 7 of Wands in reverse. 6 of Swords in reverse. Hold on one sec. Okay, so you have been part of some sort of battle, conflict, and you're not feeling the love, and there seems to be, like, you're still in it. You're lingering there. You haven't left it behind. 6 of Cups. 7 of Pentacles. King of Pentacles. And when you leave it behind, then you feel the love. And then you feel solid, like you did something. And then you find success. Wow. So if you can think of a situation that there's a lot of conflict and you're not feeling the love and you've been holding yourself back from leaving it behind, this is saying, like, yeah, everything starts to happen the moment you do leave it behind. Everything in your favor, everything that you've been wanting to achieve, like King of Pentacles, especially if you're someone who has been trying to achieve financial wealth and stability. Wow. You know, fulfillment emotionally as well is here. Younger woman, dealings or relationship with a younger woman. Mountain, major challenges to overcome. Or actually it says challenge, but I read it as challenges. Target, a goal-oriented person. Yes, that's what you are. Dancing. Swing your partner round and round. Yeah, you might have been going rounds with somebody. They're more scared of you than you are of them. Monsters. Like, whatever you're fearing is kind of blown up in your mind, right? It's kind of saying, like, it's not going to be that scary. Outer space, where all the planets, moons and stars are located. I'm just reminded of how we just had this alignment. Is it today? I think it's today. Today or 2 days ago, that there is this alignment of 6 planets in the sky. Yeah. I don't know. That might have been something you were looking at or that you know about that's relevant to you. Swamp. Wet, spongy land that is home to snakes and frogs and lots of mosquitoes. Yeah, there's a lot of uncomfortability at where you're at. Baymax, a kind-hearted, inflatable healthcare robot who becomes a superhero to heal Hiro Hamada's broken heart. Are you satisfied with your care? Are you satisfied with your care? Your heart is asking to be healed from this conflict. Heart is asking to be healed from this conflict. Someone from the past that you like have nostalgic feelings about might be involved in the going forward from this. Got delayed, renegotiated, implying meaning, know your worth. So you have assumed that something means something when it doesn't mean that. And because of any misunderstandings and because you haven't left behind the conflict where there's no love yet, that you might have put a lot of effort into, but still no fruit. Everything had been delayed, and then a contract or like you have to renegotiate where the plan going forward because how you had how you had situated your life was based on a lower self-worth than you actually have now. Hmm. Osiris, yeah, you've been collecting the misunderstood and unloved pieces of yourself as you go through this process. Natal. Like as you go round and round with somebody, maybe it's like each time you see a different part of yourself and you're like, wait a minute, I'm not wrong. They tried to make me feel like I was wrong for that, and I'm not wrong. And you realize and you're like, oh, this person all along has been trying to make me feel that way. And you just like take it back for yourself and you're like, no, this part of me is okay. I'm not doing anything wrong by being this. You know? Like just because they're blaming and shaming and pointing fingers and trying to blame it on me doesn't mean I have to take it. Like I feel scared to leave this behind, but I think it feels scarier than it actually will be. Like there's a whole vastness, right? You're in a swamp and like there's this whole vastness. Do you like the care that you're getting? South node, yep. This is just a pattern from the past that you were needed to work out within yourself. So like as you build the foundation of knowing yourself and then knowing your worth, you alleviate the need to relive these situations which were reminding you of the wounding that you had based on those things. Implying meaning. It's like, oh, this person decided that they want to fight for our relationship. That must mean that they really love me. It's like that's implying a meaning. Like you're making it mean that someone loves you when they want to fight with you. Is that true? Is it true that someone who wants to fight with you really loves you? Or is it true that someone who loves you would actually hold space for you no matter where you were at, no matter what you were going through? That they would understand that you might be going through something, that you might have something to learn. Someone who loves themselves would take space from a situation that was harmful to them, that wasn't nurturing and loving to them. Desperation. Applying meaning. Someone's desperate to make it work with me. They'll do anything. They're offering me everything. That must mean they love me. Does it? If you feel desperate to get your worth known by the other, like I'm desperate for them to understand my value, I need them to understand that they're wrong about me, that I really am worth this, that I am good, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's like, if they think you are, does that really mean you are? Or were you all along? You know, whether they see it or not, don't you have value? So the part of you that feels like it's something slipping away, like it's not going to be, that all the investment that you put in, it's never being fruitful. That part of you, it's like that part needs your love. That part needs to know that you're with it, that it can be with you, that there's no emergency, for it to get noticed, that you see it, that it's like you might have to prove yourself to that part of you that might have felt susceptible to this whole situation. Oh, defamation. The defamation card fell onto the floor, and it's like, has your reputation been threatened? Like, implying meaning. Like, if I break up, then everyone's going to think that I'm a loser or that I can't keep a relationship or that I can't make choices. And it's like, does it really mean that? It's like something you've implied doesn't actually mean that. So, wherever someone's been blaming you or you've been blaming yourself, that is all stemming from earlier on in life. A wounding pattern that you did actually come to clear up within yourself. So, and this part of you wants to have fun. This part of you wants to be free. This part of you wants to move forward and feel like a celebration for how far you've come. So know your worth. You had a delay in knowing your worth. Now, knowing your worth might be like showing up for yourself again and again and again over time, and then proving to yourself that, oh, yeah, I do know my worth. Knowing your worth is not being in situations where you have to lower your standards and not live by your values. Like implying meaning, like whatever meaning other people gave stuff, if you've adopted those things, the, even the ones that I'm saying right now, they don't have to apply. But but when you've applied meaning to something, you got to check with it whether that's true or not, or did you just assume it? Because was there an agreement between two people who both understand it that way or not? You know, if you let implied meanings fly, then some people can, mislead you and deceive you on their level of commitment and their level of care and their level of wanting to understand you, which is the basis of having a meaningful relationship. Conflict, it's like it's not bad to have conflict, but it's like, how are you handling that conflict? This situation that you've been in has been handling conflict without any love at all. And it's maybe about winning at all costs, being right. And it's like, look at the wounds that could happen that would make a person act that way when they get punished for being wrong through punishment and reward parenting tactics, or having their reputation be that they know everything or that they're perfect or that they've given some sort of indication that they were something that they wanted other people to think that they were, when actually it's this other way. And like, you're worried about having the perception of you change. Well, why is the perception of you more important than how you actually feel? Now look at that. Like, what in my childhood home did it mean about, how I actually felt? It wasn't valued at all. We cared more about what the neighbors thought of us than how we actually treated our kids in our family home. Like, oh, this might be why you've been devaluing it within yourself. But you are a goal-oriented person. I really feel that. So it's like, can you understand that you can change the goal? That there is a challenge to overcome, and it can be done. And it looks like right around the corner here, when you change things around, things will get fruitful. That your efforts will actually build something that's solid. That's the King of Pentacles. And that you don't have to forego loving relationships. And there might be some relationship from your past that is especially beneficial to you, that will be caring, something that you may even know about, someone that you want to dance with. Someone that, like, if you're in the swamp with them, you know that they're not trying to take you down just so they can get a leg up. Like, allow that for yourself, and then move forward. Okay. But the big thing that's standing out is you've made something mean something that it doesn't mean. Maybe it's even about a person that you see outside of yourself. They exhibited something to you, or maybe someone told you, but they've exhibited something to you and you made it mean something, but it doesn't actually mean that. And so because of that, you have a misunderstanding that needs to be cleaned up. And maybe it's that, they were lesser or something like that, but maybe what you don't realize is they were mirroring you. That thing that you labeled them as lesser for might be something that exists in you too. So know your worth, okay? That's going to complete your reading.